Have you ever wondered why the world seems designed to crush good people? It's not paranoia. It's a pattern. Machiavelli understood it over 500 years ago. History is not written by the noble. It's written by the most intelligent, the coldest, the most strategic, those who aren't afraid to get their hands dirty when necessary. And while some seek approval, others build empires. This is not a video to make you feel good. This is a video to make you think. Because there's an uncomfortable truth. Weakness is not something you're born with.
It's something you practice. Every time you don't say what you think. Every time you allow something you know you shouldn't allow. Every time you make yourself small so you don't make others uncomfortable. We live in a time where being firm is frowned upon, where setting boundaries seems aggressive, where defending your position seems selfish. But if you observe closely, you'll realize something. Society benefits from you doubting yourself. Because a confident person is hard to manipulate, but a person who needs approval can be controlled. Machiavelli didn't teach cruelty. He taught not to be naive. And if this topic interests you, it's probably because you've already started noticing something. Being a good person doesn't protect you. Being aware does. Being strategic does. Being mentally strong does. This is not motivation. This is clarity. Is that it doesn't look dangerous. It's a prison without visible bars. A prison made of phrases like, "I'm fine like this. I'd rather not risk it. It's not the right time." And the years go by, and that moment never comes. Most people don't want real freedom. They want guarantees. They want certainty. They want to avoid pain. But avoiding pain also means avoiding growth. Someone who fears losing their job starts tolerating things they never would. Someone who fears being alone starts negotiating their self-worth. Someone who fears being judged starts editing their personality. That's how many people stop becoming who they could be. Not due to lack of ability, but due to excess fear. A weakened mind always does the same. It confuses stability with stagnation. It confuses avoiding conflict with intelligence. It confuses enduring with maturity. But there's something that sets apart those who move forward. They're willing to feel uncomfortable, while some wait to feel safe to act. Others act and then become strong. While some wait for confidence, others build it in motion. While some wait for the perfect moment, others understand it doesn't exist. And here's a truth that changes perspective. The world doesn't punish weakness. It simply doesn't take it into account. Because no one follows someone who doesn't trust themselves. No one bets on someone who always doubts. You can be talented. You can be intelligent. You can have good ideas. But if you project insecurity, the world will pass you by. Because inner confidence isn't announced, it's perceived. The real battle is always internal. Your fear, your need for approval, your difficulty saying no, your tendency to avoid conflict. That's what truly defines how much power you have over your life. Society says, be yourself. But it rarely says, become stronger than your current version. Because that requires change. And change is uncomfortable. But reality is simple. While you chase comfort, someone else is developing character. And over time, character always beats talent without character. The real change doesn't begin when you change your situation. It begins when you change your tolerance. What you accept, what you allow, what you decide you will no longer negotiate. Because no one develops strength by reading phrases. You develop it by making uncomfortable decisions. Your insecurities didn't appear out of nowhere. They were repetition. Years of hearing, be careful, don't risk, don't fail, don't try too much. And every time you held yourself back, that voice grew stronger. But there's also another truth. The mind can be retrained. Mentally strong people weren't born that way. They became that way. They learned to do something difficult. Stop justifying themselves. Stop saying, that's just who I am. I've always been like this. I can't change. Because every excuse is an elegant way of giving up. And the real question is, do you want to understand yourself? Or do you want to evolve? Because they're not the same. Strength begins when you decide, I'm not going to explain myself anymore. I'm going to change. Being strong doesn't mean having no fear. It means not obeying fear. It means acting despite doubt. It means moving forward without certainty. Real strength is built in invisible moments, when no one is watching, when you could quit, when you could avoid, when you could postpone. But you choose to move forward anyway. And each of those decisions build something invisible. Character. When you decide, enough of tolerating this, enough of settling, enough of betraying myself. Every time you say enough internally, something starts to change. Every time you set a boundary, your identity changes. Every time you act firmly despite fear, your mind changes. Because strength doesn't appear when you no longer feel fear. It appears when you decide that fear no longer decides for you. The world doesn't become easier when you become strong, but you become harder to break. And that's the real advantage. Not avoiding blows, but being able to take them without losing who you are. The world doesn't adapt to the sensitive. It doesn't stop for the tired. It doesn't wait for the insecure. But something interesting happens. The world does respect those who stay standing. And character eventually creates presence. And presence changes how the world treats you. There comes a point in life where you can no longer blame your past, or your environment, or your luck. Because even if you didn't choose many things that happened to you, you can choose who you decide to be now. And that's where most people step back. Because changing is scary. Being firm is scary. Setting boundaries is scary. Stopping the need to please is scary. But staying weak also has a price. And that price is your potential. No one is coming to give you strength. No one is coming to give you character. No one is coming to rescue you. Strength doesn't arrive. It is built. And it starts at a very specific moment. When you get tired. Even when they're tired. Even when they doubt. Even when they're alone. Because silent firmness always commands respect. Look at yourself honestly. Without excuses. Without justifications. Without the stories you tell yourself to stay comfortable. And ask yourself something simple. Are you going to keep reacting from fear? Or are you going to start deciding from character? Because inside almost every person, there's a stronger version. The version that knows how to say no. The version that doesn't betray itself. The version that doesn't need approval. The version that knows exactly what it's worth. The difference between those who change and those who don't is that some wait to feel ready, and others simply decide. Personal power was never in your circumstances. It was always in your decisions. And most people never discover it because they never truly decide. But if you made it this far, maybe you're starting to understand it. Strength doesn't appear on its own. Weakness doesn't disappear on its own. Both require a decision, and that decision always begins the same way. Today I stop being the person who avoids. Today I stop being the person who tolerates everything. Today I stop being the person who doubts themselves. Today I start becoming someone who respects themselves. Because in the end, the greatest transformation isn't becoming stronger than others. It's becoming stronger than your previous self. And that process begins the day you decide to stop running from your own potential. If this video made you see something you hadn't seen before, then the change has already begun. Subscribe if you want to develop a mindset that's hard to ignore. And if you truly understood the message, right? Character, because everything starts there. If you want to go deeper into how the mind really works when it stops sabotaging itself, I recommend the video I left above, because understanding that can be the difference between just knowing this or actually starting to apply it. See you in that video.